Pictory 4. Why I am choosing to marry a foreign woman. Fazza romantic poems. The night was still, wrapped in a soft desert wind, as Sheikh Hamdan, Fazza, the poet of hearts, stood beneath the moonlit sky of Dubai. His thoughts were deep, his emotions calm yet powerful. He whispered words that seemed to float on the air. Why am I choosing to marry a foreign woman? The question wasn't born from rebellion, nor from desire. It came from the depth of a heart that has always sought love beyond appearances, beyond boundaries. Fazza's heart had traveled the world, but it had stopped in front of one soul that spoke a language no translation could ever capture, the language of truth, warmth, and sincerity. For Fazza, love was never about nationality, it was about connection. He had met countless people, shared smiles with royalty and commoners alike, but this woman was different. She didn't see the prince, the crown, the fame, she saw the man. The one who hides his pain behind poetry, who writes verses to heal his wounds, who longs for a love that understands silence as deeply as it celebrates laughter. I am choosing to marry a foreign woman, he said softly, because she didn't fall in love with Sheikh Hamdan. She fell in love with me, Fazza, the poet who still believes in forever. She came into his life quietly, like dawn spreading over the dunes. Her accent, her gestures, her different ways of seeing the world, all became music to his heart. He admired how she carried kindness as her crown, and how her respect for every culture mirrored his own humility. When she spoke of love, she didn't speak of wealth or palaces, but of peace and loyalty. She wasn't fascinated by his world, she was fascinated by his soul. Fazza, who had spent years surrounded by admiration, finally found someone who admired his humanity more than his name. He often said that love doesn't recognize geography, it only recognizes hearts that beat in rhythm. To the world, she was foreign. To him, she was home. Every word she spoke brought comfort. Every look she gave carried trust. He saw in her the simplicity he had longed for, the gentleness that reminded him of what love truly means, to be understood without needing to explain, to be accepted without having to change. I am choosing to marry a foreign woman, Fazza whispered into the night, because her love doesn't ask me to be a prince, it allows me to be human. He knew there would be questions, whispers, perhaps even disapproval. But Fazza's heart had never followed the world's expectations. It followed poetry, it followed truth. And in her, he found a poem that would never end. He didn't care where she was born, what language she spoke, or what traditions she carried, because love, when real, creates its own tradition. It builds its own bridge between two souls and makes the world smaller through understanding. That bridge between their worlds was built with compassion, respect, and patience, the three pillars of timeless love. When he looked at her, he didn't see borders, he saw belonging. Her culture fascinated him, her traditions humbled him, her strength inspired him. He loved the way she listened, not just with her ears but with her heart. She didn't try to fit into his royal world, she fit into his emotional one. Fazza saw in her eyes the reflection of his deepest truth. Love is not defined by where someone comes from, but by how they make you feel when you're with them. And she made him feel seen, known, and endlessly cherished.
As the days moved closer to the moment of truth, Fazza's heart carried a calm determination. He no longer questioned his decision, he embraced it with pride and humility. He knew that some would never understand why he chose love that didn't come from his homeland, but that was the beauty of it. It wasn't supposed to be understood by the world, only felt by the heart. I am choosing to marry a foreign woman, he said again, this time with quiet confidence, because she makes me feel alive in a way no title, no ceremony, no fame ever could. For Fazza, love was not a matter of tradition. It was a matter of truth, and his truth was her. There were nights when he sat by the sea, watching the moonlight ripple across the waves, thinking about how love travels. It crosses borders like the wind, free and fearless. He thought about how she, in her own world, had never imagined her heart would find its home in a desert prince. Yet here they were, two souls who found each other not by chance, but by destiny. He believed that love doesn't seek comfort, it seeks courage. To love someone from another world was not easy, but real love was never meant to be easy. I am choosing her, Fazza whispered to himself, because she is worth every storm between us. When he introduced her to his world, she didn't try to change it, she respected it. She learned, she listened, she appreciated. She didn't walk with entitlement, she walked with gratitude. That humility touched everyone around Fazza. His family, his friends, even the people who doubted at first, soon saw the glow in his eyes when she was near. It wasn't a love that screamed for attention, it was a love that spoke softly but powerfully. She carried herself with grace, blending her culture with his, creating something new, something beautiful, a union of hearts, not habits. Fazza often said that the greatest kind of love is the one that teaches you more about yourself. Through her, he learned patience, understanding, and vulnerability. She taught him that strength isn't always in control, sometimes, it's in surrender. Her gentle ways calmed his storms, her laughter reminded him of the beauty of simplicity. In her presence, he was not the crown prince of Dubai, he was just Hamdan, a man in love, a man finally at peace. I am choosing to marry a foreign woman, he reflected, because she loves the man behind the poetry, not the poet behind the fame. As their bond deepened, Fazza began to see how love could unite not only two people, but two worlds. Her family, too, welcomed him with open hearts, seeing in him not royalty, but sincerity. Together, their love became a bridge of respect, teaching both sides that cultural differences are not barriers but blessings. Love, when genuine, doesn't erase identity, it celebrates it. Their story was becoming a quiet revolution, a message written not in speeches, but in the language of compassion. It wasn't about where she came from. It was about where they were both heading, toward a future built on trust, respect, and devotion. He often wrote to her even when she was sitting beside him, because poetry was how his soul spoke. "You are not foreign to my heart," he wrote once, "you are the home I didn't know I was missing." Those words became his truth.